Here's the boring reality of fitness, of being lean, being strong, being healthy, being fit and able to do the things that you love with the people you love. I always say this, the process, I used to say this back in the day. The process is not sexy, but the results are. Much like tending to a garden, about which I know nothing for the most part. But the work itself just requires constant maintenance of the ground. You're doing things to fertilize the ground. You're making sure it gets water, sunshine, it's got the nutrients that it needs. But all you're really doing is creating the environment in which those plants can grow. And how quickly those plants grow, that's not up to you. All you can do is create the environment. Getting lean, strong, and healthy is a little bit like that, where all you can do is the handful of things that you know are going to make a big difference. And then you just have to let the work do its work. You've got to let your body respond the way that your body wants to respond. So the result of losing fat, getting stronger, building muscle, moving better, having more energy, feeling better, having less stress, better sleep, better health, etc. Those results are life-changing and wonderful. But it's not something that you can manufacture by doubling, tripling, quadrupling, etc. your output. Sure, with more work, you can speed up the process to a degree, but it's law of diminishing returns. Same thing with gardening. Like, sure, maybe you could add a little bit better fertilizer, a little bit more fertilizer, maybe make sure it gets a little bit more water, whatever. But at some point, you just have to do all you can do and then leave it be. And sometimes in the tampering with the garden, you're actually going to create problems if you overwater it, give it whatever. Again, I don't know anything about gardening, but I know you can kill plants by giving it too much water. So there is a sweet spot, and it's the same thing with your training, with your nutrition, with your walking and or cardio plan. You need to find that sweet spot for you. And for most of our clients, that's 2 to 3 days a week for 45 minutes in the gym, focusing on strength training, hitting 2 to 3 muscle sets per muscle group per workout. Those sets need to be done with good form, full range of motion, taking close to failure. This is going to allow you to get stronger, which has a gazillion benefits that I won't get into in this video. If you want to lose fat, you got to create a calorie deficit, a mild to moderate calorie deficit. You want to make sure you're getting enough protein and eat mostly real food. And eat foods that you enjoy. Don't eat foods that make you feel bad. And then you need to be walking, 6 to 10,000 steps per day. Add in some cardio if you want. And that's it. That's all you can do. You can try to speed up the process and maybe it'll work for a season. But at the end of the day, it's like gardening. You've just got to show up faithfully and consistently. And a little bit goes a long way. So once you're doing something that works, once what you are doing is working, once your training, nutrition, your cardio, walking plan is set up in a way that's getting you results, even if it's not as fast as you want, because let's be honest, even if you are getting the fastest results possible, it's probably still not fast enough for you. This is human nature. So you need to accept that it's probably going to take longer than you want. And you need to commit to the process. Now, it's your choice if you think that's boring. I don't think it needs to be boring. And I think that you can do things to make it fun, spice things up, okay? Add in some variety, make some changes to your program, make some changes to your nutrition, make some changes to your walking or cardio plan from time to time. But fall in love with the process, because it is that consistent process, day after day, week after week, month after month, of a process that in and of itself is not sexy, but the results are, right? The process itself may not be beautiful. Some might call it boring, but the results are amazing. And I think that's true with most things in life. The things that are so fun and easy to do also don't tend to get you anywhere. It's the things that you show up day after day consistently over and over, and when you learn to fall in love with those things, that's when you create a beautiful life, a life worth living. So sure, pepper in some fun stuff every once in a while, but if you want a great relationship with God, if you want a great marriage, if you want a great relationship with your family, with your kids, with your friends, social circles, your health and fitness, fall in love with what some would call the boring work. I don't think it has to be boring, but just fall in love with the ordinary work and be content to put in reps day after day, week after week. Some days you feel like it, some days you don't. But that is how you get closer and closer to your goal. And in that process, not only will you get closer to your goals, but I think of the proverb that says, in all labor, there is profit. And so I've heard someone describe it like this: your work works on you more than you work on it. So in the process of you putting in the work to reaching your goals, you will become a new person, a person for whom these things are normal. So first you practice it. You may not feel like it when you start all this, and that's okay. But eventually this becomes habits, and then those habits just become part of who you are. And ultimately you end up not just looking, feeling, and performing better and in better health, but you are actually somebody who is a healthier, fitter person in your core identity, because that is so ingrained in who you are. And how do you get there? One step at a time. So find something that works with your training, nutrition, and cardio / outside the gym activity plan, and keep doing that for months and then for years. And then you will look, feel, and perform like a completely different person. And it will, dare I say, be easy, because that is just who you are.